According to the 2025 Canine Health and Nutrition Survey from the University of Georgia, 86% of dog owners are unknowingly shaving years off their dog's life every single day. Not through neglect, not with toxic food, but through something as innocent as scooping kibble into a bowl. Something you probably did this morning. What if your dog's daily feeding routine is silently damaging their health from the inside? And you won't know until it's too late. I've spent months combing through clinical trials and speaking to top veterinary nutritionists, and what I found truly shocked me. And trust me, mistake number 9 has already come dangerously close to costing countless dogs their lives. Number 1. Feeding only once a day. It sounds efficient, routine, maybe even traditional. You wake up, fill the bowl, and that's it. No fuss, no mess. But inside your dog's body, something very different is happening. For 18 hours or more, acid churns in an empty stomach like a storm waiting to break. That acid, without anything to digest, doesn't just sit there. It starts eroding the stomach lining like rust eating through steel. You won't notice it at first. Maybe just a little grass eating, a few floor-licking habits. But one day, that acid can flip into a full-blown emergency. Veterinarians have a name for it, gastric dilatation volvulus, GDV. It's a stomach twisted in on itself like a wet towel wrung too tight. It can kill a dog in hours. And guess what? One of the major risk factors is long fasting periods followed by activity. You might think you're doing your dog a favor by keeping it simple. But ask yourself, does simple mean safe? The Dog Aging Project studied over 10,000 dogs and found something fascinating. Dogs fed once daily had slightly better cognitive scores, but only under very specific conditions, like low activity and consistent rest cycles. For working breeds, senior dogs, or pups with even moderate energy, one meal isn't enough. Their system needs steady fuel, not starvation. Imagine a campfire. It burns steady when you feed it, kindling throughout the day. But let it go cold and try to relight it. It struggles. That's your dog's metabolism. And every skipped meal is like letting the fire go out. So if your dog's only eating once a day, it's time to rethink. Split their food. Morning and evening. Same amount. Better rhythm. And just like that, you've already added months, maybe years, to their life. Now let's talk about what that bowl you're using is actually doing to their brain. Number 2. The bowl. Just a plain metal or plastic dish sitting in the corner of your kitchen. Reliable. Clean. Routine. But here's the question no one's asking, what's that bowl really doing to your dog's brain? Picture this. In the wild, a dog's ancestors spent hours every day hunting, sniffing, problem-solving, working for every bite of food. Their meals were missions, mental workouts that sharpened their instincts and kept their minds alive. Now imagine all of that replaced by a 30-second scoop and swallow. Every day. Same place, same routine, same nothingness. That quiet little bowl, it might be killing more than just boredom. Studies from Yale's Canine Cognition Lab show dogs without feeding enrichment have elevated cortisol levels, the same hormone linked to stress and depression. Their brains stop firing. Their behavior shifts. They become anxious, destructive, even withdrawn. And you wonder, why is my dog acting off lately? Could it be the bowl? You wouldn't ask a retired firefighter to sit in silence all day after years of adrenaline and purpose. So why ask your dog to stare at a wall while food drops into a dish? There's a better way. Scatter kibble in the yard. Hide it inside a towel. Use a puzzle feeder that makes them think, solve work. Give them back the hunt, even if it's just for breakfast. Your dog doesn't need ease. They need engagement. Because a tired body sleeps. But a tired mind, that's peace. And speaking of peace, what if that extra scoop you're adding, just to be nice, is doing the opposite? Let's talk about that. Next, number 3. Overfeeding without even realizing it. You scoop the food, maybe add a little extra, just a touch more, because they looked hungry, or because that tail wag made you feel like a hero. It feels like love, doesn't it? That extra scoop, that full bowl. But here's the truth. Sometimes love wears the wrong uniform. Think about this. If your dog is 20 pounds overweight, that's not like you gaining 20 pounds. That's like strapping a full backpack to their back every hour of every day. Their joints feel it. Their heart works harder. Their lungs strain. Their years shrink. The Association for Pet Obesity Prevention found that nearly 60% of American dogs are overweight. That's not an epidemic. That's a silent padded cage we're building one scoop at a time. And here's the part no one talks about. Most owners don't even know it's happening. Because weight gain in dogs is slow. It hides in the chest, the neck, the belly. Until one day, they can't jump into the truck anymore. Until the stairs become a battle. Until the vet starts talking about insulin. So here's the question. Are you feeding with your heart? Or with your head? Grab a measuring cup. Know your dog's weight. Adjust slowly, like tuning an old radio, until the station comes in clear. Because your dog doesn't need more food. They need more years. And if you think you're being generous now, wait until you see what exercise right after dinner could really cost them. Number 4. Walking your dog right after a meal. It sounds wholesome, even responsible. You feed them, leash them up, take a stroll. Maybe it's your morning ritual. Maybe it's how you two bond. But inside their body, it's not bonding. It's a brewing storm. Imagine shaking a soda can, then opening it. That's what's happening in your dog's stomach when they eat and then move. Their belly fills with food and gas. If they twist wrong or leap too soon, the stomach can flip literally. It's called GDV, gastric dilatation volvulus, and it doesn't give you a second chance. You might notice the signs too late. A bit of pacing, a failed attempt to vomit, a little drooling. But when that stomach twists, blood supply cuts off. The clock starts. 2 hours, maybe less. And the emergency vet may not even be close. Purdue's vet school found that one of the top triggers for GDV is exercise after meals, especially in larger breeds. But it can happen to any dog. A beagle, a mutt, yours. So ask yourself, are those few minutes saved worth the risk? Walk first. Feed second. Or if dinner comes first, let them rest. Let them settle. Let the engine cool before you take it out on the road again. Because peace isn't just in the moment. It's in knowing you gave their body the rhythm it needs to stay alive. Now flip that bag of food over. Have you ever really looked at the ingredients you're pouring into their bowl? You might want to. Let's go there next. Number 5. Ignoring the label. That bag of dog food sitting in the pantry. It's more than just branding and buzzwords. It's a recipe. And if you've never flipped it over and read the fine print, you're not feeding, you're guessing. Start with the first 5 ingredients. That's the heart of the meal. If you see corn wheat or the word byproduct, you're not giving them real food. You're giving them filler, empty gas. It's like putting watered-down fuel in a race car and expecting it to run like it used to. And those preservatives hiding in small print, BHA, BHT. They sound like harmless acronyms, but they've been banned in human food in parts of Europe due to links with cancer. Tufts and UC Davis have both sounded the alarm on how common these additives are in commercial dog food and how rarely owners notice. Think of your dog's food like their medicine. You wouldn't take a pill without knowing what's inside it. So why let your dog eat from a bag whose ingredients you can't even pronounce? Look for real protein. Chicken, turkey, salmon. Not poultry meal or animal digest. You want names, not mysteries. Whole food. Clean fats. No red dye, no fake flavor. Because your dog doesn't care about the packaging. They care about what you put in their bowl. And when their joints start aching too early, or their coat loses that shine, it's not age, it might be what's been sneaking in every day. But here's the twist. Even if you buy the best food, money can get. What happens if you never change it? Same formula year after year, that's our next problem. And it's a big one. Number 6. Feeding the same food from puppyhood to old age. It feels safe, doesn't it? If it's not broken, don't fix it. That bag has always worked. They've always licked the bowl clean. But here's the truth. No one tells you dogs change. And when their body changes, their fuel needs to follow. A 6-month-old pup is a machine in overdrive building muscle, stretching bone, developing like wildfire. They need high protein, higher calcium, more calories per pound than you'd imagine. But fast forward a few years. That same formula turns from fuel to burden. What once built bone now pads fat. What once gave energy now feeds inflammation. You wouldn't give a toddler the diet of a marathon runner. And you wouldn't feed a retired vet the same meal plan as a 20-year-old soldier. Why do it with your dog? The Journal of Veterinary Medicine showed that dogs fed according to their life stage, puppy adult senior lived significantly longer and had fewer chronic conditions. Why? Because their bodies weren't forced to digest what they didn't need. The food served them, not stressed them. But most owners miss the signs: slower walks, extra naps, a little weight around the middle. We chalk it up to age, but sometimes it's just the wrong recipe for the chapter they're in. So look at your dog today. Not last year, not the puppy they used to be. What do they need now? And here's the bigger question. What if the very food you trust has been stripped of nutrients before it even hits the bowl? What if it looks complete, but isn't? Stick with me. We're just getting started. Number 7. Thinking kibble is complete. That crunchy little scoop sealed in a bright bag stamped with words like balanced and complete. It looks like enough. It smells like enough. But what if it's only half the story? Imagine cooking your dinner at 400 degrees for hours, sealing it in plastic, and eating it 6 months later. Every night. For years. That's what processed kibble really is. And during that high-heat process, up to 60% of delicate vitamins, like A, E, and omega-3s, are destroyed. What's left is shelf-stable. But is it life-stable? The Journal of Animal Physiology found that extreme heat in pet food production doesn't just reduce nutrients, it creates advanced glycation, end products, or ages. These compounds have been linked to inflammation, organ stress, and faster aging. You may not see it today, but 5 years from now, it shows. Now here's the good news. Purdue University ran a 10-year study and found that dogs who ate fresh vegetables just 3 times a week had a 90% lower risk of developing certain cancers. Not a miracle. Just real food. Just a little color in the bowl. Think green beans, carrots, blueberries. Lean meats gently cooked. You're not replacing kibble. You're upgrading it like turning an MRE into a home-cooked meal. Balanced, thoughtful, alive. And yes, it takes 5 extra minutes. But isn't that worth 5 extra years? But what happens if that food, fresh or dry, is left out all day long? You might think you're being kind. You might think they'll eat when they're ready. But what you're really building is a trap. Let's talk about that next. Number 8. Leaving food out all day. Maybe it feels generous. maybe it's easier. You think she'll eat when she's hungry, and that full bowl becomes part of the furniture. A comfort. A routine. But what if I told you that same bowl sitting there hour after hour is quietly unraveling everything her body's trying to protect? Dogs aren't grazers. They're not cows. Their systems were built for rhythm, hunt, eat, rest. But when food is always available, insulin stays high, digestion never rests, and the body slips into constant storage mode. Fat piles on quietly. Hormones get out of tune. And over time, the damage settles in places you can't see: pancreas, kidneys, metabolism. The University of Copenhagen studied over 1,500 dogs and found that free-fed dogs had a 3 times higher risk of diabetes and significantly more cases of pancreatitis. Not because they ate more, but because their bodies never had a break. And here's the kicker: when food is always there, you lose track. Did they eat less today? Are they off their appetite? Are they sick? You won't know until it's serious. Think of feeding time like a conversation. You offer. They respond. You listen. That rhythm tells you how they're feeling if you're paying attention. So switch it up. Scheduled feedings. Twice a day. Put it down. 15 minutes. Then lift it. No guilt. No guessing. Just clarity. Because when food becomes background noise, it stops being fuel. And now that you're in control again, let's tackle one of the most emotional mistakes: those table scraps you think are harmless, but might be a loaded gun. Number 9, feeding from the table. Just a little bite of steak, a piece of bacon, some leftover chicken skin. It feels harmless. It feels loving. That face staring up at you, those eyes that know exactly when you're most likely to break. And maybe you do, because how could one small piece hurt? But here's the truth. It's not about the piece. It's about what's on it. The garlic powder in the sauce, the onion from the gravy, the salt, the fat, the butter. These things that make our food delicious, they make your dog's body panic. The ASPCA gets over 180,000 calls a year about dogs poisoned by human food. Not just chocolate or grapes, but things most of us don't even think twice about. A lick of peanut butter with xylitol, a piece of rotisserie chicken soaked in seasoning, even a small bit of stuffing left on the floor can turn toxic. You won't always see the signs right away. The damage can be slow, quiet. A buildup of liver enzymes, stomach upset that looks like anxiety, red blood cells breaking down without a sound. Until one day your dog collapses and the vet's asking what they ate. I get it. Saying no is hard, especially when they've been your shadow for years. But love isn't giving in. Love is drawing the line. So next time those eyes beg you from under the table, ask yourself, am I feeding them or failing them? And even if the food is perfect, carefully chosen, prepped with care, there's still one moment where everything can go wrong. It's not what you feed. It's how fast they eat it. And what that does is where we're headed next. Number 10. Switching food too fast. It starts with good intentions. Maybe you've finally found a better brand one with cleaner ingredients, or your vet recommended a new formula. You toss the old bag, fill the bowl with something new, and feel proud, like you've taken a step forward. But for your dog's stomach, that sudden change isn't progress. It's a crash. Inside your dog lives a microscopic army, trillions of gut bacteria trained for one mission: to break down the exact food they've been eating. When you change that food overnight, it's like firing the whole crew and hiring strangers with no map. Chaos unfolds. The result? Vomiting, diarrhea, appetite gone, confusion in their eyes, as if asking, "What did I do wrong?" The University of Illinois ran a study and found that 78% of dogs experience digestive distress when food is switched abruptly. Not because the food is bad, but because the bacteria inside weren't given time to adapt. Think of their gut like a small town. You don't replace every shop overnight. You ease in new stores, let the community adjust. Same with food. Day 1, 75% old, 25% new. Then slowly shift over a week. Rushing doesn't mean caring more. It just means you didn't give their body time to catch up with your heart. So, before you change their diet, pause. Plan, transition. And now that you know the 10 biggest mistakes, maybe it's time to look at your routine with new eyes. Because sometimes the smallest change in how we feed becomes the biggest gift in how long they stay. You've seen the mistakes. Maybe you've made a few. We all have. Not out of neglect, but out of love. Because no one hands you a manual when you bring a dog home. You figure it out as you go, learning through tail wags and quiet sighs through the way they look at you like you're their whole world. Because you are. But now, you know more. Now you understand that every scoop, every routine, every little thing adds up. And those small decisions, they shape the years ahead. You've served your family. You've served your job. You've stood through storms most people wouldn't understand. And now it's your turn to serve them better, smarter, with intention. Maybe your dog is curled up at your feet right now, breathing slow, trusting you without question. Maybe they're gone, and this is your way of honoring them. Either way, what you do next matters. So, here's what I'm asking. Subscribe to this channel, not for the numbers, for the knowledge, for the dog that's waiting by the door, for the one that never left your side. Because every video here is made to give you more tools, more insight, more time. And if this helped you, share it. One video can save a life. One click can change everything. They'd give their whole life for you. The least we can do is make sure that life is long, healthy, and full of love. According to a 2025 Canine Health and Nutrition report, 90% of dog owners are unknowingly shaving years off their dog's life, not through neglect, but through daily feeding habits. These mistakes don't strike overnight. They hide in plain sight for years, quietly chipping away at your dog's health until one day he stops finishing his food, starts vomiting after meals, or loses energy without warning. I spent months consulting veterinarians, canine nutritionists, and behavior specialists to uncover what we're all doing wrong. And trust me, mistake number 9 nearly cost me my dog's life. Before you scoop another bowl of kibble or tear open another pouch, stop. Because what you think is helping your dog, what you do out of love might be silently harming him instead. These aren't myths. These are science-backed, vet-confirmed mistakes I wish someone had warned me about years ago. Let's start with mistake 1. Because once you learn what really happens inside your dog's body when you feed him the wrong way, you'll never look at mealtime the same way again. Mistake 1, feeding only once a day. Here's what actually happens inside your dog's body when you feed him just once. Dogs are natural foragers evolved to eat small, frequent meals across the day. In the wild, a dog doesn't sit down for one big dinner. He scavenges nibbles and chews his way through 5 to 7 small sources of food, each providing just enough energy to keep him sharp, lean, and balanced. But when we feed just once a day, his stomach sits empty for up to 20 hours. Stomach acid builds up, gnawing away like rust on metal. That's why your dog sometimes throws up yellow foam or obsessively licks floors and furniture. That's not just quirky behavior. That's acid reflux screaming for relief. A 2024 study from the University of Glasgow found that dogs fed once daily had 38% higher levels of cortisol, the stress hormone that's been linked to anxiety, bloating, poor digestion, and even premature aging. And the damage goes beyond the gut. That chronic hunger rewires your dog's brain. He gets clingier, more reactive, and shows food-guarding behavior like growling or pacing before meals. Blood sugar crashes. The liver strains to stabilize it. Metabolism falters. But the fix takes just 10 seconds. Divide your dog's daily food into 2 or 3 smaller meals, morning, afternoon, and early evening. Same amount of food, different timing. In a 12-year longevity study, dogs fed multiple times a day lived an average of 1.7 years longer than once-a-day eaters. Your dog's stomach isn't a garbage bin. It's a delicate engine that needs steady fuel, not starvation followed by overload. Mistake 2, feeding only from a bowl. Your dog's body might be alive, but his mind could be dying of boredom. And we're the ones making it worse. In nature, dogs don't just eat. They hunt. They sniff, search, dig, stalk. It's not about the food. It's about the mission. Every meal engages their nose, brain, and instincts. But when we pour kibble in a bowl and walk away, we kill the hunt in 15 seconds flat. A 2023 study from the University of Wisconsin's Canine Cognition Lab found that dogs fed exclusively from bowls showed similar brain activity patterns to humans experiencing chronic boredom and early-stage depression. Their cortisol levels spiked up to 34%, higher than dogs who worked or played for their food. Every time you fill that bowl without challenge, you take away the very thing that makes your dog feel alive. The result? Chewed furniture, digging in the yard, night pacing. These aren't bad behaviors. They're symptoms of a brain begging for purpose. The fix is simple, even fun. Scatter kibble across the floor. Hide treats under towels. Use puzzle feeders, snuffle mats, slow bowls. Turn mealtime into a scavenger hunt. Dogs who forage for food show 55% less destructive behavior and sleep more soundly according to data from the Oxford Behavioral Institute. They're calmer, sharper, and more content. Because their instincts are being honored. So here's my question for you. When was the last time your dog had to search for his meal, not just wait for it? Mistake 3, eyeballing portions. That extra scoop you add because he still looks hungry. That's not kindness. That's a slow, daily poison. Dogs are smaller than we emotionally realize. Just 1 extra tablespoon of kibble for a 20-pound dog is the caloric equivalent of a person eating an entire extra cheeseburger at every single meal. Over months and years, that little extra adds up to a shorter life. The Association for Pet Obesity Prevention reports that over 55% of household dogs are overweight, and most owners have no idea. Canine obesity isn't just a round belly. It's fat, wrapped around organs pressing on kidneys, inflaming the pancreas, exhausting the heart, and grinding away at joints that were never built to carry the weight. A 2022 Cornell Veterinary College study found that dogs fed measured portions lived an average of 2.1 years longer than their overfed litter mates. Why? Because excess fat in dogs doesn't just sit there. It acts like a toxin. It releases inflammatory hormones that damage the liver and can trigger insulin resistance and early diabetes. The fix costs less than $5 a kitchen scale or a measuring cup. Weigh every meal, every time. Consistency isn't control, it's love disguised as discipline. Because in dog nutrition, precision adds years. And guessing is gambling with their life. Mistake 4, feeding right before or after intense play. Your dog bolts after a toy, or chases a squirrel, then gulps down a bowl of food minutes later, and suddenly he's vomiting. You shrug. Hairballs, excitement. Not quite. It's about timing. When a dog eats, blood rushes to the stomach for digestion. But when we add high-speed play right before or after meals, food sloshes violently inside. Gas builds, pressure increases, and in some cases, the stomach can twist or compress, a condition known as bloat, one of the most deadly emergencies in dogs. A 2023 gastrointestinal study from the University of Guelph showed that dogs who played within 30 minutes of eating were 49% more likely to experience vomiting, acid reflux, or digestive inflammation. Dogs are biologically wired to follow a rhythm, sniff, hunt, eat, then rest. But when we reverse that order, we confuse their biology. It's like asking your body to sprint right after Thanksgiving dinner. You can do it, but your organs will hate you for it. The fix is clear. Wait at least 30 minutes after active play before feeding, or give your dog time to digest an hour before the next game of fetch. It's not about denying fun. It's about honoring digestion. Mistake 5, ignoring the ingredient list. Go ahead. Flip over that bag of dog food. Do you see a named meat first, chicken, beef, lamb? Or do you see meat, meal, animal byproduct, or digest? The pet food industry doesn't want you to know what those words mean. Meat byproduct can legally include bones, hooves, feathers, things not meant for consumption. And worse, some investigations have found trace materials from euthanized animals in low-cost pet foods. Yes, it's legal under current FDA regulations. That's not all. Many commercial foods are packed with corn wheat or soy cheap fillers that spike blood sugar and can cause skin allergies. Add in artificial preservatives like BHA or BHT, banned in Europe for human consumption due to cancer risk, and you're giving your dog a daily chemical cocktail. A 2021 UC Davis nutrition study found that dogs on high-quality protein diets lived 14% longer and had 37% fewer vet visits. The fix: read the label. Look for whole-named proteins first. Avoid vague terms. Skip artificial preservatives and fillers. Yes, it might cost more. But what's the price of a year, 2 years, 3 years more with the dog who loves you unconditionally? Mistake 6, feeding puppy food too long or not long enough. Your puppy grows faster than you think. And yet, many owners either leave their dogs on puppy food for years or switch too early, silently sabotaging their health. A puppy's body is under construction. Bones, joints, organs, everything is growing fast. They need higher protein, more calcium, and extra calories to fuel development. Feed adult food too early, and you risk weak bones, poor muscle tone, and long-term joint issues. But on the flip side, feeding puppy food too long can be just as dangerous. By age 7 or 8, a senior dog's metabolism slows. Their kidney function declines. Their energy needs drop, but their meals often don't. Feeding high-calorie puppy food to a slower, older dog is like putting race fuel in a tractor. It stresses the heart, bloats the body, and overloads the liver. A 2022 study from Ohio State's Canine Nutrition Center tracked dogs from puppyhood to senior years. Dogs whose diets were adjusted at the right life stages lived on average 1.8 years longer than those who stayed on the same formula too long. The rule is simple. Feed the age, not the habit. Puppy food for puppies. Adult food for adults. Senior food for seniors. Watch their weight, coat, and energy. Adjust with love. Because your dog can't tell you what they need. But their body can, and it starts with the bowl. Mistake 7, skipping wet or fresh food. Your dog may look healthy, bright eyes, wagging tail, but inside their body could be quietly crying out for hydration. Dogs descended from wolves who got most of their water from prey, not bowls. Yet millions of owners feed only dry kibble thinking water dishes will make up the difference. But most dogs don't drink enough on their own. A dry food-only diet stresses the kidneys. It concentrates the urine. Over time, that sets the stage for bladder stones, urinary tract infections, and even kidney disease, the #1 cause of illness in older dogs. A decade-long study at Purdue University's Canine Health Lab found that dogs who ate a mix of moist and dry food had 39% fewer urinary issues and 31% lower rates of kidney strain. Moist food isn't just about hydration, it's about digestion, taste, and nutrient absorption. Kibble is processed at high heat, stripping vitamins and denaturing proteins. Wet or gently cooked foods preserve those nutrients and go down easier. The fix is easy. Add some moisture. Mix in bone broth. Serve fresh, vet-approved meals 2 to 3 times a week. Even replacing just 30% of meals with moist food dramatically reduces organ stress. Because feeding isn't just about full bellies. It's about supporting the organs that carry your dog through life. Mistake 8: leaving food out all day. You might think you're being kind by keeping your dog's bowl full 24/7. He'll eat when he's hungry, right? Not quite. Free feeding sounds generous, but it throws your dog's metabolism into chaos. In the wild, dogs eat in rhythms, hunt, eat fast. That cycle gives their organs time to process rest and repair. Constant access to food prevents that cycle. According to a 2023 University of Copenhagen study, free-fed dogs were 3x more likely to be overweight and 40% more prone to digestive issues than dogs on a scheduled meal plan. It also makes it nearly impossible to track appetite. If your dog starts eating less, you won't notice. You won't catch illness early. And if moist food is left out too long, it breeds bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli, exposing your dog to risks you may never connect to the bowl. The solution is powerful scheduled meals only. Put food down for 15 to 20 minutes, then remove it. This stabilizes hunger cues, protects digestion, and gives you early warning signs when something's off. Dogs thrive on structure, not endless buffets. One small shift can protect their body and add years to their life. Mistake 9: giving table scraps and human food. That little bite of chicken from your plate. That chunk of cheese you toss because he looks so cute. It feels harmless, but it might be one of the most dangerous habits you've picked up. Dogs have sensitive digestive systems. Foods that are safe for humans can be toxic to them. Onions and garlic, even tiny amounts, can damage red blood cells and cause anemia. Grapes and raisins can shut down kidneys in hours. Chocolate, sugar-free sweeteners like xylitol-rich meats, greasy sauces all trigger severe reactions. In fact, a 2023 veterinary emergency report found that 62% of emergency visits involving vomiting or collapse were tied directly to accidental ingestion of human food. Even foods that seem safe come with risks. Bones can splinter. Fatty meat can cause pancreatitis. Sauces contain spices, sugars, and preservatives that strain the liver. If it wasn't made for a dog, don't give it. Love isn't in the scraps. It's in the discipline to say no. Mistake 10: switching foods too quickly. You find a better brand, healthier ingredients, glowing reviews. You toss out the old bag, pour in the new, and within hours, your dog has diarrhea, throws up, or stops eating. It's not the food's fault. It's the speed. Your dog's gut is a fragile ecosystem filled with trillions of bacteria that work together to digest the food he's used to. Changing it suddenly is like firing the entire digestive workforce overnight. Everything goes into chaos. A University of Illinois study found that 74% of dogs who were switched to a new food without a transition period experienced moderate to severe digestive issues. The right way: gradual change over 7 to 10 days. Start with 75% old food, 25% new. After a few days, go to 50-50, then 25-75. By day 10, your dog's gut will be fully adapted. Take it slow. It's not just about avoiding messes on the carpet, it's about respecting your dog's internal rhythm and giving his body time to adjust without pain. If you've made any of these mistakes, don't beat yourself up. I did too. Every single one of them. Not out of neglect, but out of love. We feed our dogs with the best intentions, but sometimes love needs guidance. Because feeding your dog isn't just a routine. It's a responsibility that touches every cell, every joint, every heartbeat they'll ever have. What goes into their bowl today quietly shapes their tomorrow. And the beautiful truth, it's never too late to make a better choice. One new habit, one smarter meal, one change in timing. That's all it takes to add health energy and even years to the life of the dog who trusts you with everything. If this video helped you see feeding in a new way, please like it, share it, and send it to someone who needs to hear this. It might just save a dog's life. And tell me in the comments, which of these mistakes surprised you most? Let's talk, share stories, and help each other do better, one bowl at a time. Welcome to Dog Facts and Fun, where every fact hides a story of love. You love your dog. You'd do anything to keep her safe, healthy, and by your side for as long as possible. But what if right now you're doing something that's slowly cutting her life short? Without even knowing, that was me a few years ago. I thought I was doing everything right. And then Daisy got sick. Not all at once, it was slow. Quiet. By the time I realized, I couldn't undo the damage. To this day, I still wonder, if I had known just one thing sooner, would she still be here? That's why this video matters. We're going to uncover 12 silent but deadly mistakes that most dog owners, even the most loving ones, make without realizing it. And I'm telling you now, mistake number 3, I did it for years. Every single week. If you care about your dog's health, if you want more birthdays, more tail wags, more mornings with that warm little body curled up next to you, don't miss a single second. Let's begin. Mistake number 12, overfeeding and low quality. Ingredients: you scoop a little extra because she looked hungry. You give her a treat because she was a good girl. And when she stares at you with those eyes, it's hard to say no. I get it. Daisy used to get seconds all the time. A little bite of chicken here, some gravy there. She loved it, and I felt like I was being a good parent. But the truth is, I was slowly harming her. Overfeeding is the #1 contributor to obesity in dogs. And obesity opens the door to diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, and even cancer. According to the Association for Pet Obesity Prevention, over 50% of dogs in the U.S. are overweight. And here's the scary part. Most owners don't even realize it. But it's not just how much you feed, it's what you feed. Low-quality kibble packed with fillers, artificial dyes, and meat byproducts. It may keep them full, but it doesn't nourish their body. Think of it like feeding a child only fast food for 10 years. Want to know what changed everything for Daisy, switching to a whole food diet with portion control? She slimmed down, her energy came back, and even her coat looked better. Don't wait for your dog to get sick to realize food is medicine. And if you think feeding scraps off your plate is harmless, wait until you hear what that does to their liver and kidneys. Let's talk about mistake number 11, not spaying or neutering properly. This one's tricky because it's personal and emotional. Some dog owners are all for it. Others regret doing it. But what most people don't realize is timing method, and even breed-all effect, whether spaying or neutering helps or hurts. I waited too long with Daisy. I thought I was protecting her by avoiding surgery. But one day, she started bleeding, and the vet found a uterine infection called pyometra. It was life-threatening. We were lucky to catch it in time. Spaying early would have prevented that entirely. On the flip side, I've met owners who spayed their large breed dogs too early before the bones finished developing. And guess what? Years later, their dogs ended up with joint issues, torn ACLs, or incontinence. Same decision, different timing, completely different outcome. So what's the right answer? Here's what the science says. Spaying and neutering can reduce the risk of certain cancers, infections, and behavioral issues. But the right time to do it depends on your dog's size, breed, and health. And no, it doesn't make your dog fat. Overfeeding does. Talk to a vet who understands breed-specific care. Don't just follow blanket advice. Spaying Daisy at the right time gave her calmer behavior, zero marking, and no hormonal stress. But if I'd waited just one more month, I might have lost her. Don't wait until something goes wrong. Be proactive, not reactive. Next up, a mistake you're making every single day, even if you don't smoke. Let's talk about secondhand smoke and your dog's lungs. Mistake number 10, secondhand smoke. Exposure. You wouldn't blow smoke into a baby's face. But what about your dog? I didn't think about it either, not until Daisy started coughing. It was subtle at first, a little wheeze, some reverse sneezing. We blamed allergies, maybe dust. But the real problem, she had no choice but to breathe in everything we did. Dogs are low to the ground, closer to carpets, ash, toxins. Their lungs are smaller, their systems more sensitive. And unlike us, they can't step outside when the air gets bad. According to veterinary studies, dogs exposed to secondhand smoke have a higher risk of nasal cancer, lung disease, and even lymphoma. And breeds with long noses like collies or retrievers are even more vulnerable. What shocked me most, it's not just smoking indoors. Smoke lingers on clothes, furniture, and even your dog's fur. Every hug transfers those toxins to them. I quit smoking around Daisy when she turned 6. But by then, some damage had already been done. She didn't choose to live in a smoky house. I did. If you smoke, the best thing you can do for your dog is take it outside away from them. Or better yet, quit. And if someone else in your home smokes, set boundaries. You're not just protecting yourself. You're protecting the only heart in the house that would never hurt you. Coming up next, a daily habit that feels loving, but could destroy your dog's organs from the inside out. Let's talk about table scraps. Mistake number 9, feeding table scraps. You're finishing dinner. There's a little meat left on your plate. Your dog's sitting there, eyes wide, tail thumping, doing that perfect. I've been so good, look. So you cave. Just a bite, right? That's what I used to tell myself with Daisy. Leftover steak, a spoon of mashed potatoes, a little gravy. It made her happy. And that face? Hard to resist. But here's the truth. Dogs aren't built to handle human food. Their digestive systems are different. What's comfort food for you could be toxic to them. Even small amounts of onion, garlic, grapes, cooked bones, fatty trimmings, all common on our plates, can damage the liver, kidneys, or pancreas. And long-term, it adds up. Daisy started showing signs slowly, softer stools, less energy, odd breath. The vet asked, "Are you feeding her anything from your meals?" That one question hit me like a truck. I thought I was being generous. Turns out I was feeding her into inflammation. Want to show your dog love through food, stick to species-appropriate treats. Or better yet, make safe ones yourself, boiled chicken carrots or frozen bone broth cubes. And here's something I wish someone had told me sooner. Those pleading eyes don't mean hunger. They mean connection. Feed them with attention, with play, with presence. Because one forkful of love can sometimes cost a year of life. Up next, an open window, a quiet backyard, and a split-second decision your dog can't take back. Let's talk about unsafe access to doors and windows. Mistake 8. Unsafe access to doors and windows. It only takes 1 second. One squirrel, one loud noise, one half-open door, and your dog is gone. I still remember the day Daisy slipped out. The gate was cracked open just 2 inches. I turned away for less than a minute. When I looked back, she was sprinting down the road. Thankfully, we got her back. But not everyone's that lucky. Every year, over 10 million pets go missing in the U.S., and many never make it home. Even worse, those that do often come back injured, traumatized, or worse. Here's the thing, your dog may be trained. She may be calm. But instincts, especially prey, override everything in a flash. A bird, a rustle, a car backfiring. Boom, she's gone. And don't get me started on windows. Dogs, especially small or medium breeds, have jumped through screens chasing squirrels or reacting to fireworks. If you live in an apartment or high-rise, one fall is all it takes. Here's what you can do. Use baby gates or double-door systems. Always leash before opening any exterior door. Install secure fencing with no gaps. Supervise outdoor time, even in safe backyards. And if your dog gets out once and comes back safely, don't let that fool you. You may not get a second chance. I got lucky with Daisy, but luck isn't a plan. Coming up, something as simple as bath time that if done wrong could cause infections, stress, and lifelong discomfort. Let's talk about bathing mistakes. Mistake number 7. Incorrect bathing practices. Bath time. For some dogs, it's a spa day. For others, it's pure betrayal. Either way, it matters more than you think. I'll admit, I didn't give Daisy enough baths when she was younger. I thought, she doesn't smell. Her coat looks fine. Why bother? But grooming isn't just about appearances. It's about health. Too little bathing, and you risk skin infections, matting parasites, and yeast buildup. Too much bathing, and you strip their coat of natural oils, leaving dry, irritated skin. So, what's the right frequency? For most dogs, once every 4 to 8 weeks is ideal, but it depends on breed, coat type, and lifestyle. A muddy golden retriever. More often, a clean indoor greyhound. Less. And then there's the how. Hot water, too harsh. Scented human shampoo, harmful. Water in the ears. Welcome to ear infection city. Daisy once got a terrible ear infection after I lazily poured water over her head. She shook and scratched for days. The vet's bill, $300. The guilt, much worse. From that day on, I used a washcloth for her face dog-safe shampoo and always dried her ears gently after every bath. Bathing is a chance to check for lumps, ticks, rashes, things you'd otherwise miss. Don't rush it. Don't skip it. And don't assume your dog's clean enough. Done right, it's not just hygiene, it's bonding. Next up, something tiny, adjustable, and often ignored, but if left unchecked, can cause real pain. Let's talk about your dog's collar. Mistake number 6. Collar, too tight or too loose. It seems harmless. You clip on the collar, give it a little tug done. But here's the truth. An improperly fitted collar is more dangerous than most people think. When Daisy was a puppy, I adjusted her collar regularly. But as she got older and heavier, I got lazy. One day, I noticed a raw spot on her neck. Underneath her fur, the collar had been digging in. She never yelped, never whined, but she was in pain quietly. A too tight collar can cause skin irritation, muscle strain, and even restrict airflow. And a collar that's too loose, that's an open door to escape. I've seen dogs back out of loose collars in seconds, straight into traffic. Here's the rule of thumb. For medium to large dogs, you should be able to slide 2 fingers between the collar and the neck. For small dogs, just one finger. And always check, especially if your dog has gained or lost weight, or is still growing. But here's what most owners miss: collars aren't set it and forget it. Check weekly. Rotate or remove during rest, and clean them. Bacteria builds fast. Want even better safety? Use a harness for walks. Save the collar for ID tags only. Daisy's relief was instant once I adjusted hers. She moved easier, slept better. I could see it in her eyes. It's a small fix, but for your dog, it could mean the difference between comfort and constant strain. Coming up next, the most overlooked cause of dog obesity, and it's not food. Let's talk about exercise. Mistake number 5. Lack of exercise. Most people think overweight dogs just eat too much. But here's the hidden truth. The real problem is often not enough movement. Daisy used to nap a lot. She wasn't hyper. She wasn't destructive. So I figured she's just low energy. Why push her big mistake? Dogs, even the calmest ones, need daily physical and mental stimulation. Without it, their metabolism slows, their joints stiffen, and their mind gets dull. Obesity is just one outcome. Add to that anxiety, aggression, destructive chewing, and even depression. And it's not just about long walks. A short 15-minute play session, a puzzle toy, or even sniffing around the yard makes a huge difference. Senior dogs still need it. Indoor dogs need it even more. I started with Daisy's slow, short walks, hiding treats around the house, find-it games. In 2 weeks, she was brighter. In 1 month, her posture improved. By 3 months, she'd lost 4 pounds and gained years of life. Here's the key. Exercise isn't about wearing them out. It's about waking them up. If your dog's been quiet, sluggish, or aging fast, don't assume it's just old age. Movement is medicine. You don't need fancy gear or a huge yard. You need 20 minutes and a little creativity. Next mistake. Something invisible, but just as deadly as hunger or pain. Let's talk about loneliness and the cost of not giving your dog enough attention. Mistake number 4. Not enough attention and mental stimulation. You feed your dog. You let her outside. She's safe, warm, and loved. But ask yourself, when was the last time you really connected with her? I don't mean a pat on the head or a good girl while you're checking your phone. I mean eye contact, play, presence. Dogs are social creatures. They don't just want attention, they need it to thrive. Without it, they become anxious, withdrawn, even sick. Daisy used to stare at me from the hallway, tail low, eyes fixed. I thought she was just being sweet, but that was her asking, "Are you still here with me?" When dogs don't get enough attention, it affects more than just their mood. Studies show that chronic loneliness lowers immune function, increases stress hormones, and shortens lifespan. Some dogs even develop obsessive behaviors, licking paws, raw, chewing furniture, pacing for hours. The fix. It's not about more time, it's about better time. 5 minutes of fetch. A slow walk with sniff breaks. Talking to them like they matter, because they do. And for older dogs, stimulation is even more important. Mental games like food puzzles or teaching new tricks can slow cognitive decline. Daisy didn't need hours of play. She needed eye contact, voice, a moment that said, "You still matter." And when I gave her that, she bloomed. Coming up next, we check our own teeth. But when was the last time you looked inside your dog's mouth? Let's talk about dental hygiene and grooming. Mistake. 3. Poor dental hygiene and grooming. This one surprised me the most. I used to think grooming was just about looking nice, and brushing teeth, something only fancy dog parents did. But then Daisy stopped eating her kibble. She'd sniff it, then walk away. I thought she was being picky, until I noticed the smell from her mouth. Her gums were red. Her breath was sour. She was in pain. Here's what I learned. By age 3, over 80% of dogs show signs of dental disease. Left untreated, that bacteria doesn't just stay in the mouth, it spreads to the heart, kidneys, and liver. Think about that. A dirty mouth can silently poison the rest of the body. Brushing your dog's teeth a few times a week, even just gently with a finger brush, makes a huge difference. If brushing isn't possible, try dental chews, water additives, or schedule professional cleanings. And grooming. It's more than just trimming nails and brushing fur. It's how you spot skin lumps, parasites, rashes, or matted areas that trap bacteria and moisture. Long nails affect posture and joint health. Matted fur can cause infections. With Daisy, once I made grooming a weekly ritual, not a chore, but bonding time. She changed. Her coat shone. She walked lighter. She smelled like fresh starts. Grooming isn't vanity. It's healthcare. And if you've been putting it off thinking it's not urgent, trust me, by the time it feels urgent, it's already hurting them. Next up, a mistake hidden behind tiny bars and big misunderstandings. Let's talk about cramped cages and small enclosures. Mistake number 2, small enclosures and limited space. She's small, so she doesn't need much room, right? That's what I thought with Daisy when she was a pup. Her crate was cozy. Her pen was safe. But one day I caught her spinning in circles, biting the bars, whining for no reason. It wasn't cute. It was stress. And I missed the signs. Many owners believe that if their dog fits, they're fine. But space isn't just physical, it's psychological. Dogs need room to stretch, sniff, move, and explore. When confined too long or too often, their body weakens and their mind dulls. And the damage isn't just emotional. Studies show that dogs kept in small or restrictive enclosures can develop joint problems, digestive issues, increased cortisol levels, and behavioral disorders. It doesn't mean crates are bad. It means crates are for rest and safety, not full-time living. Ask yourself, can your dog fully turn around, lie flat, and stretch out? Does she have regular time outside that space, with variety and stimulation? If not, she's surviving, not thriving. Daisy was a different dog once we expanded her world. We gave her more supervised freedom, interactive toys, and cozy resting spots beyond the crate. The pacing stopped. Her eyes softened. A home should feel like freedom, not a cage. And now, we've reached the final mistake. One bite, one bad decision, one leftover dish in the trash. Let's talk about spoiled food and the real danger behind it. Mistake. Number 1, feeding spoiled or expired food. You wouldn't eat week-old leftovers, right? But your dog. She sniffs the trash, licks. The plate finds something under the couch. And you think dogs eat anything. That's what I believe, too. Daisy once found a piece of old chicken behind the stove. Before I could stop her, it was gone. 2 hours later, she was vomiting. By nightfall, she was trembling in pain. It wasn't just an upset stomach. It was food poisoning. Spoiled food is toxic, not just uncomfortable. It can contain bacteria like Salmonella or E. coli, or worse, mold toxins that can cause seizures, liver failure, even death. And it doesn't have to smell bad to be dangerous. Here's the mistake many dog owners make. We treat dogs like scavengers. Yes, they can eat almost anything, but that doesn't mean they should. Their digestive systems aren't built to process spoiled, greasy, or decomposing food. Even table scraps that seem fine can be too salty, too fatty, or harboring bacteria if left out. Now I label leftovers. I toss anything questionable. And I never assume she'll be okay just because it's just a little. Because Daisy's life isn't worth the risk of a scrap. If you wouldn't eat it, don't feed it. You've come this far. 12 mistakes, each one small, common, and made with love, but each one with the power to silently shorten your dog's life. 12 mistakes. Some were things you never thought twice about: an extra scoop of food, skipping a bath, letting your dog sit by the door. None of them made you a bad owner. They made you a loving one, trying your best with what you knew at the time. But now you know more. You know that how you feed, play, touch, and watch over your dog shapes her health more than you ever imagined. And you know this: dogs don't live long because we love them. They live long because we love them, right? I still think about Daisy. I think about the mistakes I made and the things I changed just in time. Her life was better in those final years because I finally listened, finally saw, finally understood. And now you do too. So here's my ask. Go hug your dog. Check her collar. Look at her teeth. Toss the old snacks. Then come back here, because this journey's not over. In the next video, I'll show you 7 silent signals your dog is in pain, even if she looks perfectly fine. Most owners miss them. You won't. And before you go, tell me in the comments, which mistake surprised you most? Your story might save another dog's life. If this video helped you see your dog more clearly, subscribe, because we're just getting started.